Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in. I am late, but it wasn't my fault this time. We're trying to get Trey connected, so he's got the invites, and he will be on in just a minute. So we are going to talk about estate sales. It's something I don't think I've ever talked about on this channel. Maybe one time I was at an estate sale, like live with you guys or recorded. I might have done a vlog or something. I can't remember, but Trey does estate sales all the time. So he is the man, the expert. He's from Northeast Texas, just northeast of Dallas in a town called Caddo Creek. And you guys might know Trey Whitlock from the Green Room and from my VIP group. He's all over the place. And Trey is going to get connected with us, I'm sure, in just a minute. He's going to jump on his phone, and he should pop up in the chat anytime now. So just give him a second. But in the meantime, I just want to welcome everybody in. If you're watching this video later and you're interested in estate sales, please come back and watch this video through to the end. Trey is a wealth of knowledge, and I can't wait to show you everything that he's going to teach you about estate sales. He has some... Oh, there he is. You got your microphone working, Trey? Nope, we can't hear you. Make sure you turn on your microphone on the settings. You should be able to click the button and hit the little setting gear or the tab and then select microphone and make sure that your mute button is not selected and make sure that the microphone icon is not redded out. Can't hear Trey, but he'll get connected with us in just a second. He's hitting all the buttons. So for any of you that have ever done a live show or have not done a live show, you probably experienced the audio technical difficulties. Everyone has the audio technical difficulties. So, hey, Joy up in Seattle, how you doing? Neighbors with Megan Mawiney. Everybody out there, Delaware, JJ Rags, welcome in. We got our Flippin' Hippos and Megan Mawiney, our wonderful... she's not a moderator. How are you not a moderator, Megan? We're going to go ahead and make Megan a moderator. She deserves it, right, everybody? Elizabeth, how you doing? And welcome into everyone else. Trey just disconnected. Trey, your video was working great, buddy. Your audio not so much. So we'll get him on in just a minute. But how many of you guys go to estate sales? How many of you regularly attend estate sales, buy and sell? And if you do, I'm curious what percentage of you guys actually sell clothing? Like, I don't think many estate sale sellers really target clothing all that much. I've seen a few of you that do vintage clothing, like Elizabethan, is it Elizabethan? Like old time, like the golden ages, all that kind of stuff. Maybe the 60s, the bell bottoms from the 70s, all that sort of vintage stuff. So Got Junk in Our Trunk is an estate sale liquidator outside of Memphis. So that's really good. A lot of you guys do go. I think if we looked at most of the eBay stores of those of you that do a lot of estate sales, I think that you guys have a wide, eclectic mix of goods. I don't think you guys have just any one. None of you estate sale people have like a niche, right? You guys just kind of buy whatever you find. Is that right? The online estate sale has been killing it there. That's a really great point that Christy Harris just made, that online estate sales, they kind of gone along the route of the online storage auction sales. Like, we used to go to storage auctions and bid in person, and now they put all the photos up on the internet. You go on the internet, you bid. So I have seen some of these online estate sales, and they're kind of the same story. There's Trey getting on us again. We got some video. Just make sure you have an audio. If you're on your phone, plug in some headphones. Those will work too as a microphone. Pottery and glassware, Marcy. Is it McManaway? Is that McManaway? Yeah. Pottery and glassware is a big one. Whatever makes money, absolutely. The vintage clothes, rare books are a really good thing. I've bought magazines and rare books, of course. So there's a lot of cool stuff to buy at estate sales. And I believe they're on auctionzip.com. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Auctionzip.com is a place to check out the online estate sales. There's several of them, or they'll, at least in the very least amount, give you the address of the upcoming sales. One of the things I can tell you that Trey's going to convey to you guys is that you got to get on the email list, and you got to get on the, the notification squad for these estate sale companies, because they put out emails all the time of, hey, we're having an estate sale Friday. We're having one Saturday. Make sure you're here at this time and place. And so I actually have a couple emails from them. I'll show you guys what they look like. And if you're in Florida, congratulations, you're getting some information here. So here is some of the estate sales that I have emails to. This one is called Fresh Start Estate Liquidators. It's here in Florida in Bloomingdale, Valrico area. And so they basically just email me a little email every day. And then as we scroll up, it gives you like the address and the date and time. And then when you scroll up a little more, they give you some photos. See, so the photos are, you can view all 176 photos. So these are very important. Estatesales.org is the website that you want to go on. And so they give you all of this preview so you can see what's going on at the estate sale. There's 176 photos. I'm not going to scroll through all these, but you can see, look, jewelry and furniture, and it's very cool. So make sure you do get on those lists. It's very important that you know where the estate sales are. So, got junk in our trunk one Thursday night. Adam says, Rhonda, I will reach out to Rhonda. Rhonda, if you watch this, send me an email and we can get together and do something. Everyone that's in my VIP and my other group is having their own conversation in the chat. That's funny. So for me, estate sales are something with Florida having, and I apologize to anyone in Florida who's older. We have a lot of elderly people. People call Florida God's waiting room. And it's true. A lot of people die here. And in a lot of the cases, the family inherits the house. They own the house. They have to sell the goods. The children, they usually live out of state. They just want the stuff gone. And so they'll hire an estate sale company, or sometimes they do it themselves. And so they still trying to get Trey on here. And so they will they'll sell all the goods. They just want everything out of the house, top to bottom. If you've never been to an estate sale, they'll basically bring everything out on the tables or on the kitchen counters, and you just walk through and you buy everything. It's usually marked. Sometimes they don't mark it, but you know, be nice, Casey. Yeah. So Trey's still messaging me. What is my second store name on eBay where I sell electronics? ALKS. I am not giving that out because I was trolled on eBay a couple of times in a row, and I want a store that no one control at a later date. There are a few people that know that store name, but please, if you do, don't give it out. I don't want anyone to know that store. I'm sorry. Yeah, estate sales by the companies tend to be more expensive than estate sales by the family. Sometimes the family doesn't know what things are worth. They price things too cheap. Sometimes they price things too expensive. It really just depends on you know, their knowledge of what mom and dad had or what grandma and grandpa had. So I see more stuff. Yeah, more rich people do pass on in Florida. It's true. And when elderly people pass on in Florida, estate sales are the most logical thing. No one wants to take the time to clean all that stuff out. Trust me, it's a lot of work. Hey, Julie down in Clearwater, just an hour south of me. How you doing? Yes, I have a couple videos, Ryan, on me doing some estate sales. I think there's 2 videos of me going to estate sales on my channel. They're a little bit older. They're over a year old. I have been to quite a few in the last, say, 6 months, but I don't go to as many as I'd like to. And because they're inside and because I always complain about the rain, I should go to more estate sales, right? It is a large job to liquidate an estate. I mean, you're talking about an entire house. It could be 20 or 30 years worth of somebody's life, somebody's merchandise, somebody's cameras, somebody's bed, somebody's, you know, knickknacks, their glassware, their fiesta ware, their pretty much anything that you would look around your house and collect. I mean, and by the way, I meant to point this out. I'm in our office, which is our inventory print label room, not with the signs behind me. They're going to move. I'm going to create an entire amazing backdrop. We just got done cleaning this room out for the most part, though. I'll show you guys a little bit of it. We're still working on it. We still got a little bit of ways to go, but this is going to become my official recording and office because this room doesn't have vaulted ceilings like the rest of my house. And so the sound doesn't sound horrible and echo in here. I'm going to get to sound proper, and I'm going to buy a couple soundproof pieces to put on the wall. I'm going to backdrop the wall and have my signs and like a nice backdrop of a beach or a skyline or something. And then behind that backdrop, I'm going to put the soundproofing to kind of keep the sound in and make it sound better. So this is going to be a proper official recording room, I guess, for me. Anyways, so, you know, if you look around one room of what people have in just your average bedroom or dining room, that's what you're liquidating with an estate sale. It's insane. So Adam, moving is going to happen, but it's going to be some months out. It's not going to happen before the holiday. I kind of figured it wouldn't happen until after the new year. So we're looking at 2019 to move. And I don't know, it could be February, it could be June, who knows? So in the meantime, for the next 6 months to 9 months or a year, I'm going to have this as a proper recording room. It also happens to double as a proper inventory room. You guys can see look at all the inventory. Look at all that inventory that's just chilling. So, yeah, this is kind of what we call our anxiety room, but we cleaned it out really well. So, yeah. So, I really want to get, yeah, you're legit on YouTube when you put up the acoustical foam. They're just going to be those little squares. I'm going to put up like maybe 3, 3, and 3. I'm trying to get Trey. I really want to get Trey on here because he's got some great information and we need to hear from Trey like now. If we can't get him up, we'll get him back another time. But, I really, really want to get him into this chat because he's the guy. If you guys want to check out his eBay store, it's Caddo Creek Traders. Caddo is Caddo, Caddo Creek, and then Traders. And he'll be able to you'll be able to see his eBay store and you can send him messages. You can message him on Facebook as well. But the point of this this video was, to really go over what kind of stuff Trey buys, what he sells, what he looks for, what kind of money he spends, and we'll give him just a few more minutes. If not, I kind of can go over it with you guys and we can talk a little bit about it. I'm by far an expert in estate sales. I don't go to enough to really be that big of an expert, but I can tell you Trey has 300 active listings right now, 300 active listings on eBay. And he manages to sell anywhere, like today he sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. And even with the best offer on one of his items, he sold 155, 235. He's up around $250 today and still has some time. He'll do about $300 today, which is pretty typical for Trey. I mean, for him to do $8,000 or $9,000 in a month is not unheard of with 300 active items. Now, keep that in mind. If Trey had more up, which he has a ton of inventory, imagine 300 pieces of clothing. What would you sell, like 2 pieces a day? You'd sell 60 pieces at 15, 20 bucks. You might sell $1,000, 1,200 bucks. What's up from Lakeland? So Caddo Creek Traders is Trey's store. Thank you for that, Star, for popping that in there. So there is, Trey's from Texas, where everything's bigger in Texas, right? Is that proper? Here comes Trey. Hey, Trey, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
There he is. Now we got him. We could hear him.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. We got Trey. What is up, Trey? Perfect timing.
Boy, I'm telling you, we got bad storms in the area, and my internet keeps going down. And then I had to reboot the computer. Oh, it was horrible.
So Trey's we see you a little staticky, but it's okay. You're coming through. We can hear you. So hopefully it'll hold out. He is in Caddo Creek, Texas, which is northeast of Dallas. For those of you that don't know, even though my Google Maps doesn't know where Caddo Creek is. So me and Trey have got to know each other over probably like the last 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Trey's an active member in the green room over with the boys, Steve and Eric and Bonafide hustler here. So he's active with those guys. He's also a member of the VIP group. And Trey is, with 300 listings, you sell more than some people that have 1,300 listings in clothing, because your store is we were just talking about, your store is so mixed, like the stuff that you have.
If I can make money on it, I will find it and sell it. That's
absolutely. And if you look over Trey's shoulder right now, move your head left or right, either way. Check out that Tommy Bahama fire going on, and that American Eagle. Is that an Olympic jacket?
Yeah, that's an Olympic jacket. I bought that at an estate sale last weekend. I paid $6 for that. They sell for about $75, $85.
When was the last time you bought some clothing at Salvation Army, people, that you bought for $6 to sell for $80? So yeah, that's kind of your average sale price. You and I went over this. You were what, 40, 50 bucks, 60 bucks?
I stay between 40 and 50.
Between 40 and 50. And yeah, everyone looking at that jacket. everyone commenting on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the Tommy Bahama I picked up that same weekend. And this one with this car on it is really collectible. So I paid $10 for that, and I should get probably around 60 or 70 for it.
Right. So most of our Tommy Bahamas, the standard ones are $20 shirts. If you can get some with graphics, you'll get 30-ish, 35. The one I sold with the bomber, the B29 dropping the olive into the martini glass, that's the one I sold for $44.99. Something with that. That's Havana, Cuba with that old time car, right?
Yeah, and it's the car is collectible. I think it's a Jaguar.
Yep.
So it's kind of a double collectible.
$60. There you go. And that's the kind of shirts, you know, and that's the thing. It's hard to find those at thrift stores. Either A, they jack the price up, or B, people scoop those things up, or they get held in the back, or things like that. But that at an estate sale, you know, we might think $10 is a lot for a shirt, which normally it kind of is. But when you find that sort of thing, it's so unique. Your store, I just gave everyone the link out to your store. Your eBay store is so unique. It's probably the most diverse store that I look at on a regular basis. So
yeah, I've here lately I've added a little retail arbitrage stuff that I picked up because I'm coming into fourth quarter.
Yep.
So I'll be doing a bunch of Amazon, and some of that the boxes weren't nice enough or something, so I put it on eBay. So there's kind of some weird stuff in my store right now.
It's always, with what you do though, is always just a mix, you know, like being able to put in the retail arbitrage. And, you know, a lot of people, I get this question a lot, Trey, about, hey, I've been selling a lot of tools, and now I've been grabbing some weird stuff at estate sale. Should I start a whole new store for that? And I always want to like lean towards the no, just have a store that has a little bit of everything. I feel like people search for the cool stuff that you have, and if they see a bunch of cool stuff, they'll keep going through your store.
Yeah, I think so too. And thanks to you, I started doing some Instagram stuff, and it really helps. I had a Houston Oilers shirt that I had picked up. They don't sell for a lot. I picked it up for $1. They sell for about 25, and because it was vintage. And I'd sat on it for about a month and a half, I guess, and I Instagrammed it today and sold it today.
Wow. See that? And it's never instant. I know it's called Instagram, but it's never instant. But it adds up. People start following you, and they eventually find something they like. I mean, your stuff, that's sort of the thing, you know, with 300 items, only 300 items, mind you, that your stuff kind of is waiting for the right buyers a lot of times.
Yes.
So it does take a little bit of time to sell, but when it sells, the profits you make are so worth it.
Right. Exactly.
Sherry, thank you for the super chat from Indiana, $5. Thank you very much, Sherry. So me and Trey, and I'm going to open my email. I sent him a little kind of like a question and answer, sort of like an outline of what we wanted to talk about. And we've got plenty of time. So let me go over this. Tell us a little bit about you. How did you get started in estate sales to begin with, or selling in general? And in case you missed it, Trey's from Texas, and I've always wanted to say this. Is everything really bigger in Texas?
Well, we are the big state in the United States. Alaska thinks they are, but we've threatened to go up and melt all the ice, find out just how big they really are. But, yeah.
That's one of the lines I've always wanted to say to a real Texan is everything bigger in Texas. So
yeah, I make people in Colorado really mad when I tell them that I'm coming up there to visit our mountains, because
oh my Lord,
they used to be ours back in the 1800s.
So tell us how, you know, you've been in Texas your whole life. Tell us a little bit about where you got started. I was
born in Texas, in South Texas, down in Corpus Christi. I started working in the cellular phone industry, and I did a lot of international travel. Wound up down in Brazil, met my wife in Brazil. So we came back, and I stayed in that until Motorola kind of went defunct. And so we moved back to Texas. We were in Arizona at the time, moved back to Texas. And then I went to work for a company that makes oil field equipment. And I was a purchasing manager, and I absolutely hated it. It was the worst job. And the guy that I worked for, he just somebody I didn't want to be. So my wife was going down to Brazil to see family, and I said, okay, well, I'm going with you. And I had no plan, no money, no nothing. We got on a plane, went down, stayed with her family. And so I sat in a hammock and went to the beach for about 3 weeks and had some adult beverages and then tried to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And I had always kind of sold on eBay. I sold like comic books and collectible toys. I used to do toy shows and comic book shows. So I never really looked at eBay as like a means to a business. And I picked up a tablet and started surfing. And then that's when I found Chris, the Bonafide Hustler. And I started watching his videos, and I backed up all the way to the very first one. And I just started watching him from the beginning.
Wow.
Watched everything he did.
I remember that. I remember that night.
Yeah. And then I found Steve Rakin, and then I found Eric, and led me to everybody else, including you. And so it's
those guys will lead you to the rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I had a phone, I had a tablet, and I had a computer. And as one battery would die, I would just pick up the next one. And
oh
I would
my
just
Lord!
the next one.
Pam asked, "What plant did you work at in Arizona?"
I worked. It was the one in Chandler,
Arizona. Okay.
Yeah. And
yeah. Trey's experiencing some storms. Dominator, sorry about that. A little choppy on his end, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So Jamie Pace just said, "What the heck, a real Texan?" Jamie, we let you claim Texas, but that's all we let you claim. So anyone who knows Jamie, he lives even way down. He lives down there by Houston.
I like Knight's comment about me being in a bunker.
Oh yeah. So anybody who isn't familiar with Trey also, which maybe a lot of you, he's operating out of his inventory office workspace right now, which happens to be, I guess you could call it a bunker, but is it a shipping container, right?
Yeah, it's a 40-foot shipping container that I bought, and I put wood on the walls and insulated it and everything else, and so it's climate controlled. And so I have inventory on one end. I have kind of an office in the first third, and then at the other end is my photography studio.
It's the most awesome, innovative, interesting setup I've seen. I'd ask him to show us, but I'm afraid of what might happen if he moves.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, that's happened before.
So that happened to us before. Yeah, when as soon as he moved. So Paul DeLeo says in Texas you can actually put saddles on the cockroaches.
Yes, this is true. And the mosquitoes.
And the the mosquitoes are what's worrying me. So anybody else who happens to be in Texas, I have plans. So and I just went over this. I've already forgot. Trey knows I forget everything. But Thursday, October the 11th, late afternoon evening, I'm flying in to Texas, to Dallas, and then I'll be there for the following 2.5 days, the 12th, the 13th, and leaving the 14th. And so me and Trey are grabbing dinner on Saturday, finally going to get to meet him in person. But if you're at Posh Fest or around Dallas the other days and you just want to say hi or grab a drink or something, let me know and I'll give you the details. Message me privately. So my first time in Texas. I've been to the airport at least 2 or 3 times, but I've never been around Texas. So
yeah, it's
exciting.
It's a lot of fun. I had some people come up from Brazil and we took them around. It was closer to Christmas. There's a lot of really cool Christmas stuff to do. So.
Yep. The houses are bigger in Texas too. Trust me. I look into real estate sometimes. So I can't wait to go. It's my first time added to the list. So everyone's saying, yeah, the mosquitoes are aggressive and large.
Yep.
That is, yeah. Hopefully there won't be any there. So why estate sales? Why do you go there rather than what most of the people that we see do? What is it about estate sales that causes you to be like, yes?
Well, there's a guy who he used to do a lot of YouTube videos, and I don't think I've seen him do any lately. His name is Dallas Moore.
I do know that name. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said one time, if you can beat people at their own game at estate sales, you can make a lot of money. And so I always kind of had that in the back of my mind. And I mean, we got to face it. Thrift stores are pricing us out of the market, and they're trying to make money for, their charities and everything else. I don't blame them. It's just like estate sale people. They're trying to make money for themselves. They're trying to put money in their pocket and the people that they're selling the stuff for.
That's right.
So it's you're trying to beat them at their own game is what you're trying to do. And everybody assumes that since they're estate sale managers, that they know the price of everything, but nobody knows the price of everything.
Nope.
And I can walk into it's rare I leave an estate sale and I didn't buy something. It happens every now and then, but I try to pick and choose my estate sales by the pictures and stuff like that they upload. So I know what I'm getting into. And I've gotten pretty good. Some of them, they'll try to strategically take pictures to make it look like they got more stuff than they do.
Of course, to get you through the door.
You have to get used to that. So, okay, I don't want to go to that one.
They're trying to get you through the door.
Yep, that's right.
So when you're signed up for the email list, obviously you get the emails, and is there, question one, part one is there other ways that you find them? And part two is, how do you decide which ones you're going to and which ones you don't go to?
There's several different ways. There's apps you can use. One of the best sites to go to is estatesales.net. And that's where I start. I start there because they're going to have all the professional ones are going to be there. The ones you really kind of want to try to find, though, I mean, this is a really good tip, is that you really kind of want to find the ones that are family run. And the reason is because they don't know as much as the people that do it professionally. So you can go into a family run one and find more stuff, because they'll price things like all records are $1 or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can put the records and cherry pick out the good ones, So
that's a great. That was what I expected, and that's a great tip. That the corporate or the company owned ones, they're probably doing a little more research. They're probably looking stuff up. So the chance of getting an amazing deal is probably a little less than if you're at a family run one. Absolutely. Is there a way? So being signed up to the email list is going to be the company ones. Is there a way that you find some of the family ones, or how do you go about finding other ones?
I have been to some to where the only thing they did was put up signs.
Wow.
That was it. And it's usually older people who think that that's the way you still do it. That's the way they did it back in the 80s and the 90s,
Yep.
And they'll put it in the newspaper. Newspaper's a great place to look. You won't find very many, but when you do, it'll be a family run.
And it'll be really profitable. So that's, I mean, this falls into my old category of anything that you do, there's more than one way to do it. This is like a thing that I preach, is don't just go looking for, I'm going to get emails on estate sales. Go look for signs. Like, as I drive around my neighborhoods and as I go out in town every day, people start sticking signs up on Wednesday and Thursday for estate sales and yard sales. So look for the signs, look for the newspaper. The other place that I find some of my estate sales around here, I've really got to go to more. I was telling him before you came on that Florida is God's waiting room. There's estate sales to go around, I assure you.
That's right.
And most of the people, and people said this too, they agree, in Florida, most of the elderly people that die here, their families don't live here.
Right.
They usually retired here.
Right.
So the family, the kids, we were at one, this was a couple months ago and miles down the road. The family lived in Connecticut. Hey, Steve Braken, I see you up there in Connecticut. And it was a 29-year-old son and like a 22-year-old daughter who had 70-year-old parents who both passed on just for whatever reason. And they were, older. Their parents were much older than they were. And the son flew down out of his schedule. He was some executive at a business, and the daughter was in college. He had to fly down here specially just to sign the papers to give the rights to take over everything, because he's like, I don't even want to hear about this. Tell me when the house is empty and I can sell it.
Right.
And we went to that estate sale, and that's one I have on video. This was 6 or 9 months ago. It's in one of my videos. And if you look through the video, I mean, this was a house. It was 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,500 square foot. And they had, the father had shipping containers on the property.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see me walking in and out of these 4 or 5 shipping containers. It was bonkers. There must have been 500 people at this estate sale. And so, the son didn't hire a company. He hired somebody he met or knew down here in Florida to do it, just to take care of it. Yeah. And so there was some really great stuff there. They had jewelry and medals and model planes and just everything, if you watch that video. But like that sort of thing happens all the time. The family's out of state and they're just like, listen, I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. So
I posted a picture today on my Instagram of an estate sale that I was at yesterday, and there was only 2 estate sales yesterday in all of my side of Dallas, and this one was just packed to the rafters. I mean, it had so much stuff. It wasn't a hoarder house like stuff in the floor you couldn't walk.
Mhm.
But every single cupboard was jam-packed full.
Wow.
And I got there about 20 minutes before the estate sale, and I was at the end of the line, and I took a picture of the line. The line was over 2 hours to get in.
Wow. I saw the picture.
Nope, I'm out of here.
So Trey's on Instagram under the same name, under Caddo Creek Traders. And I did see that picture. I like that picture. I almost put the big laughing, crying, smiley face on it. I saw the line, and I've stood in the line for a few minutes to get into a couple places. That was a question that Junk in our trunk just asked, and is a good follow-up. Is there days that do you try to go on the first day? Do you try to go the last day? What's your kind of strategy on different days of the sale? Because most of them are 3 days, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right. And I go on the first day. And everything there is going to be full price whenever I go. It's rare that I go on a discount day. And the reason is because if I live an hour from Dallas. So if I'm going to drive into Dallas, I want to make sure whatever it is I want is going to be there. Because if I drive in for the discounts, it may be gone.
That's right. Yep.
So I have taken a day to where I just go in and it's like, what am I going to find today? And I just go around and see what I can find at discount. But usually by Sunday, when everybody's doing their heavy discounts, I'm already taking pictures, getting it loaded to eBay, and getting set up for Monday.
So when you go in, so this is the thing that I've been like learning the hard way. Like, okay, so a couple weeks ago there was an estate sale, and it started at 9 a.m. and so I got there at like 8:30, and there was already like 50 people there.
Yes,
and it was a pretty good size house. And so, how early is too early? How early is not early enough?
It really depends on what they have for sale. I mean, I have gotten to where to be honest, I know this is going to sound weird, but if they have like 1960s GI Joes, I'm not going to get there 2 hours early to go stand in line. I've got 15 estate sales to hit that day,
Yeah.
So I will go to the estate sale and I will go stand in line to get in, but I'm not going to get there 2 hours early to try to get those GI Joes because number one, they're going to be priced at full price. And number two, the really heavy hitter collectors are going to be there to go get them. And
there's going to be a line for just the GI Joes.
So I actually love it when that happens because everybody goes to that. Everybody, it's kind of like a feint. They all go that way and I go the other way.
Yep.
And at that very sale, I went into a bedroom. Everybody went to the GI Joes. I went into a bedroom, walked over, looked in the closet, and there was a board game there called Dark Tower. And it's from the 80s. Game. It was complete. It worked. It was beautiful box. I got $250 for that game.
And what'd you pay for it?
I paid like $8.
See, guys, don't always go after what everyone else is going after. So I'm actually familiar with the Dark Tower game. Anybody who hasn't seen it, just go ahead and look it up. It's got this giant board. It's a circle board, and it's got a tower in the middle, and then it's got like 4 sections for the player. Go look it up. It's one of those. That game's what, late 80s, early 90s, probably.
Late, probably, yeah, 87, 88.
88. So there you go. So this was my childhood, even though I was a small child. But my brother, most people, I don't think a lot of people know this. I have a brother that's 10 years older than me. He's he just turned 43 last week, actually, and he's exactly 10 years older than me. And yeah, nobody really knows that. He did 23 years. He just retired from the military. He was stationed. Yeah, he was stationed at CENTCOM at Tampa down here at the Air Force Base. How do I not know the name of the Air Force Base in Tampa that he was at?
I'm the one that's supposed to be nervous.
I know. McDill. God, I had it right up to myself. So my brother did 23 years. he was in Tokyo and Korea, and then he came back here to retire at MacDill in South Tampa. It's for anyone who doesn't know, South Tampa's Air Force Base is the Central Command Center for CENTCOM, which is all the communications for the Air Force. The Blue Angels fly out of Pensacola, and their training flights are back and forth between Tampa and Pensacola. So every other couple of days, we can, if you know when the schedule is and you can watch, you see the Blue Angels fly over my house all the time. So, yeah, I have a brother that's 10 years older. So he played all these games. He played Hero Quest and Dark Tower and Fireball Volcano Island, and he had all that stuff. I'm like 5 years old, you know, he's 15, 14, whatever. He's playing all this stuff, and I don't know what the heck's going on, but I remember all the games. So, very collectible games or something. God, vintage games. I've seen so many people do so well on them. And look, you never know what you'll learn when you come on the Rockstars channel. Most people are like, I just see a brother, what? An older and taller brother. No, my brother is much shorter than me. I'm the tall one of the family. My brother's he's tall. He's like 5'10" or 5'11", but I'm the tall one. So, yeah, there's always really, really good stuff. Like, just because one person is going after all the GI Joes, don't overlook everything else. I saw somebody else post that they had been at an estate sale that everyone was going after like the jewelry, I think, and they were in like every closet cleaning out the rest of the house.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, that's a smart way to go.
That's exactly right.
Junk in Our Trunk asked if you've ever gone on like the last day and inquired about maybe buying out all the stuff or buying everything, or have you ever seen that, or what do you think of that?
You can actually, in fact, I was talking to a guy today that where he works, that guy's aunt does estate sales. So it was kind of like, you know, twice removed. But anyway, she has somebody who comes on the very last day in the last hour, and he stands around, and then once she closes the door, he takes everything. She gives it all to him for free.
Wow.
And so, you know, there's going to be some furniture. There's going to be, and I don't deal with furniture. It's too big and it's too bulky, and I have no way to move it.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's going to be furniture. Then there's going to probably be a lot of clothing and stuff like that. But, you know, people never used to hit clothing. Now people are starting to hit clothing. But a lot of people are looking for the really vintage stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't. I mean, I look for vintage Hawaiian shirts. That's my big thing. And I've found a couple. I found a polo Hawaiian shirt that I paid, I think they wanted $12 for it is what I paid for it. And I sold it for somewhere around like $350.
Wow.
And there was only one other one that ever sold on eBay like 2 months before, and it had rips in it. Mine was perfect. And he got like $200 for that shirt.
And you got like $250.
I got like $350.
Oh, $350. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's a super rare. It was a beautiful shirt. I almost wish I had it back because I'd wear it. But
well, you never know. It might have been me that bought it. You know,
yeah, it could have been. You never know.
No. So, well, speaking of that,
it
Trey,
wasn't Robert Graham. It was Polo.
No, it wasn't RG. Trey created actually for all of. There's a lot of you, especially Paul DeLeo, who love those Hawaiian and vintage and crazy shirts that guys wear. Paul created a Facebook group. I linked it down below there that you guys can go join. Couple questions, just answer them real quick. It'd take you like 10 seconds. And Paul's got an awesome group. It's for buying and selling Hawaiian and crazy shirts like that. And also just to hang out and talk about it and learn stuff from people. So just right below our faces, our handsome, awesome faces, there's a link, and it's going to go right to Trey's Facebook group, and it'll take you literally 10 seconds to join it. Just a couple questions, which is normal to make sure there's no spam. And you guys will be in. Go check that group out. I think it's going to be a fun group. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully I can get them a lot of members because I know quite a bit of you guys, Paul and Justin and even Jamie. We'll let Jamie in, I guess. Well, yeah. So it'll be a cool group. And I told Trey that after I joined it, I said, yeah, there's a lot of people that love those ridiculous shirts. There's a collector's market for it. There's a buyer seller market for it. So creating a group made sense. So use that link.
And on my on this Facebook group, you can sell your shirts. You have to use the album feature to be able to sell them. But you can list your shirts for sale. Everybody's welcome to list their shirts for sale.
That's awesome.
And I'm trying to keep it more towards vintage shirts, but all Hawaiian shirts are
welcome.
Or able to be.
So yeah, so if you have an eBay store that has some vintage Hawaiian or vintage, you know, tropical or any of those, what's that one that you had, that guy's name that's on it?
Rain Spooner?
No, not Rain Spooner is one, but there's another one. Paul DeLeo will be able to tell me. It's the really Hawaiian, not Tommy Bahama, the really Hawaiian, like Kokamayo or it's,
oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So any of those type of shirts, if you're into any of that stuff, if you have any of that for sale, join his group.
Kamehameha? Was it Kamehameha?
Yeah. As soon as I see it, I'll know. Paul DeLeo. Paul will shout it out that he knows the brand of that crazy Hawaiian shirt. It's from like the 70s and 80s. Anyways, any of that vintage stuff, Trey's group down there is pretty cool. It's completely free. Just join it, list your stuff, and hopefully the shirt that Trey has on is badass. It is. He wore that especially for this show, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I did actually. Yeah.
No,
and I'm not. XL. It's an XL. I'm all proud of myself. I've lost 25 pounds.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. Well, now I know where it came from. Now.
Yeah.
It turns out it actually came from this stuff. But
yeah, there you go. Well, the bad thing is that I have some really nice Tommy Bahamas that are double XL. And so I've kind of been picking up XLs because I'm kind of getting into the XLs, but I'm halfway in between. So I can't wear either one.
That's a good problem to have, actually.
Yeah. The double XLs look like a tent, and the XLs just a little.
Is it more inspiration for you to get down to the next one?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So, I've always, and this is the problem, like with my shirts and even my Robert Graham's, like I wear an extra large, like pretty much. I'm so tall, I have to kind of have it. But I'm like 6'1", maybe a little over 6'1" when we measure. But like the width wise of the shirts, a lot of Robert Graham's are like form fitting, they're tighter.
Right.
And so like my special or my limited edition was a large, and it actually fits because the limiteds were made bigger. But the extra larges are starting to be like you, like where they're getting to like where they're too big sometimes. And I'm like right in between it. And I'm like, do I, because people offer me the larges online and I'm like, I love the shirt and I want it, but I'm like, I'm not going to do it.
I know.
So I go to the extra large. So yeah, Candace says, congrats on the weight loss. It is hard.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
The world, well, there's two sides to that. One is it's hard because, well, we all love to eat and we love food and some of us love other things that don't help. The other side is that, and I found this, bad food is expensive.
Yeah, good food's expensive too.
Good food, fruits and vegetables are even more expensive.
Oh yeah, I know.
We go out and I used to complain about grocery shopping, like, oh, we bought donuts and candy and all this and spent $100. Then I go out and buy like lemons and limes and strawberries. I'm like, we spent $300 on some fruit.
Holy mackerel! So, tomatoes are expensive.
We eat tomato mozzarella like nobody's business. Yeah. We chop up cheese. Cheese is the most expensive ingredient in any food period. Cheese is bad for you, but we eat it with tomato and fat-free olive oil, and that's like our salads. We eat it with like spinach leaves and lettuce. Those salads are like $5 a person. Buying the ingredients to. I'm like, what? Okay, I could have went to dinner for this. What are we talking about? Right.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. I was at the green room event back in June.
Yep.
And I was actually talking to Steve Rakin. And so Steve asked me, he said, where do you want to be the next time you walk into this green room event next year? And I said, I want to weigh 190 pounds and want to have a whole lot more money, you know? So he said, it's pretty good goals, you know? Yeah. He said, now you got to go make it happen because I want to see next year. So I sat down and I made a goal to lose the weight. And I mean, I need to lose 88 pounds is what I need to lose to get to 190.
It's completely doable.
1.7 pounds per week.
That's only less than 2 pounds a week.
That's less than 2 pounds a week.
That's
1.7 pounds.
So doable. So I currently,
and I'm like 4 weeks ahead of schedule right now.
See that you're gonna walk in that room over there. Steve's gonna owe you something. You better hold him to owing you something. So, and you know what? Steve's lost what, like 40 pounds or something.
Oh yeah.
And so Steve is really pushing it. And so as tall as I am, this is kind of the thing that I have over everyone. It's hard to tell when I gained weight. Like it's tellable. You can tell I've gained weight. I used to be about 160, 165. It was Kate's like, I'm putting some weight on you because you were bad. And
right.
there's some pictures. Yeah, there's some pictures on my Facebook of us on a cruise, and I've got no shirt on, and it was bone. It was bones. The problem is, once you start putting on weight, it's hard to stop.
It's true.
So I wanted to be at like 180-ish, 185 for my height. I'm 6'1", and so the charts say like 175, 185 is like perfect. 190 is where you should stop.
Right.
And so I'm 196 right now.
Yeah.
And so I put in my head that at 200 we're bad. We're in bad shape. Like no 200.
I would love to be 196.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get to 185.
I'm getting there.
So I want to lose 11 pounds, and I know what my problem is. I'm out and about so much. You guys know I'm driving around. I'm going everywhere. I'm doing everything. You know what I eat. I don't have to tell everyone what I eat. Like,
I tell you. I mean, it's you really you have to rein that in. But the biggest thing for me, I guess, was I had to take time out for myself. So every evening I go walk for an hour. And that was really hard to do because I'm trying to work all the time. I'm trying to get all this estate sales stuff listed, and so that was kind of tough to do. But you really you have to do it. You have to take time out for yourself. And the better your health, the better you're going to be.
The more, this is the one thing I learned from Steve the most is that the more weight that he lost and the more that he actually got up and did that physical activity, the more work he got done afterwards.
Yep. I have noticed that too.
And this is something, he told me, because I told him, I stopped and did that. I did, working out. We went for runs. We took the dogs for long walks, 2 miles, whatever. I would get exhausted. And Steve said, it's going to happen for the first week, 2 weeks.
Yep.
But once you get used to it, it energizes you. And that's the problem. I just haven't gotten used to the, as a routine, I guess.
Well, the weird thing is, it's like we've been having a bunch of storms and stuff around here, so I haven't been able to go walk in 4 or 5 days.
Oh.
And so I finally got to go yesterday, and my brother went with me, and I was like, man, I didn't realize how much I missed it.
Yep.
Because I've been doing it every day since June 10th. So
it's a habit.
Yeah.
And I got to get in the habit. I got to. And this is the thing about waking up early, because a lot of people are bad about waking up to get started work. Estate sales, yard sales, they're 7 a.m., 8 a.m. So that's some of my problems. I get to them late, 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I'm like, man, I should have got up an hour earlier, 2 hours earlier.
It's true. It's true.
Beverly says she met me at eBay Open 2018 and said you look thinner in person. I look thinner in person than you see on camera, but if you knew me 2 years ago, you would know better. The Little Debbie snack cakes and Red Bulls that was my breakfast every day.
Yeah.
I would walk out of the house with a Red Bull and like a chocolate donut or a Star Crunch or something. It was terrible. And everyone knows when I go out, I drink beer. I try not to drink hard liquor. It's just not as good for you. Not that beer's any better, but beer's way fattening. So, don't be a rock star slacker. That's completely true. The camera adds 10 pounds. Well, thank God. So yeah, I got to work on that. There's a lot of things to work on. And the next thing I'm going to work on besides that is getting to more estate sales. There's no doubt about it. What do you think, for somebody that's starting out that hasn't been to estate sales or hardly been to any, besides getting up early and being more motivated, what is the things that they should learn to do? They should learn to look for, just kind of like habits, anything you want to add in there about like just in general?
Well, actually, I mean, if you do want to sleep late, it's better to do estate sales than garage sales, because the garage sales start at 6 or 7 in the morning and estate sales don't typically start till about 10.
Yep. That's right. Actually, that's
true. Really in the beginning, just stick to what you know. I mean, if you're a clothing seller, go look for the clothing and try to hit those areas that, set yourself some limits. I set myself some limits when I started doing estate sales. I decided if I couldn't make $30 on whatever it is I bought, I wasn't going to buy it. Whether it was clothing, no matter what it was, I wasn't going to buy it. And the only exception I made to that rule was if it would ship first class. And then I could make 20 to 25 on it.
Because then you're immediately saving $7, $8 on shipping.
Right.
Yeah.
So I set up those limits, and I would come home with lots of stuff because I'd go hit 10 or 15.
How much money do you spend?
Dallas area too. I mean, a lot of people don't live in big areas.
How much money do you spend? How much do you take with you?
I cash, I'll take probably about $300. But then I also have a PayPal debit card, and I use that wherever they'll take cards.
Wherever they'll take. So a lot of estate sales, especially the company-owned ones, they usually have that PayPal swiper or the Stripe one or the Square.
But you don't ever know. Sometimes it won't be working, and they'll only take cash or something.
So make sure you have both. Definitely make sure you have both. That's a good tip. And so before we go it's not that it slipped my mind, but I just didn't have a chance to throw it in there. Everything that you need to know. So what we're talking about here for estate sales is kind of generalized. Trey has been working on something of his own. This is completely Trey's, and I'm definitely going to help him out with this because I've had the pleasure of reading it over the last couple of days. Trey put this all together in an amazing estate sale guide that I've linked down below, and it's $20. And it's, trust me, if you don't make $20 on your first item, you're crazy. And I read through it. I helped him with, kind of little tweaking it. And he did a really good job. He made all this without me. He just sent me the version. We talked about it. He made some tweaks. He added some stuff. And it's incredible. And if I had never been to estate sales, and even though I have been, it's still helpful. Trey, go look at his store, Caddo Creek Traders. You'll see the unique stuff he's selling, the kind of stuff that he looks for. And the profit margins, you just heard it. Buying stuff for $8 and selling it for even 60 or 80 or 350 for that matter. There's so much money to be made on that. And I think a lot of people are kind of stuck in that thrift store, Goodwill, routine that they kind of need to reach outside of it. And if you really want to, and you want to go big on estate sales and really make some money, invest in yourself, put the $20 out. It's completely, this is not mine. This is all Trey's, obviously for helping him out, he's kicking me back, but this is Trey's book. He wrote this 100% with nobody else's help, and he did an amazing job on it. And I think it's well worth it. It's linked right down below. If you're at all interested in estate sales and you want to make money on them, grab it up, do it now. He might charge you $1,000 for it tomorrow, just saying. So it is worth every penny. And I don't think you will be unsatisfied. And go out to your estate sale and let us know. Tell us what you bought, what you sold, what you profited, what you found. He really gives you some great ideas of what to look for. And as always, you can look at his store and see what he's selling. Yeah,
thanks a lot. I mean, it really means a lot. And don't let him fool you. He helped a lot more than what he's letting on.
No, so. I literally got the rough draft copy in my email, and I read through it. And I'm not the fastest reader. It's not that I can't read fast. It's that I'm distracted, like that movie, like, ooh, squirrel. And so when I read, it takes me all day to read like an email. So I read it pretty quickly. It's great information. It's got a lot of stuff in it. It's not overly long. You can sit down and read it casually in 30 to 45 minutes probably. And then you can have it with you. You can save it as a PDF on your phone, keep it with you when you're out at the estate sales. And as always, anybody that does decide to pick it up, you have direct messaging to me. If you can get a hold of Trey, awesome. I don't expect him to respond like I do, but if you have questions, I can always forward it to him and get you answers.
I'll certainly try to respond quickly.
Trey reminds me of Kenny Rogers and the Gambler.
Kenny Rogers. Oh, Kenny Rogers' little brother. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Kenny Rogers' little brother. Oh, got it. So, if you want to check out though if you want to join his Facebook group, it's linked below. If you want to grab the book, it's down below in the description box. Just click on it. It'll take you right to the page to check out, and you can grab it. If you have questions, of course, send them to me. And his eBay and Instagram are both Caddo Creek Traders. It is CADDOCREEK Caddo Creek Traders. I just put it in the chat. And you can comment after this is off, watch it later time and date. Leave a comment section if you're not in the live chat, and I'm sure you'll check back on this video and respond to some of them. Estate sales, I think, are some of the highest profit margin items. I think you can really make, people are used to doing these clothings for $10 profit. And there's nothing wrong with that. But with fourth quarter coming up and with the way that clothing has been going lately, reaching outside of the box is something that we all have to do.
Yep.
I think you agree with that. Totally.
Absolutely.
And good program. Got Drunk in Our Trunk. Thank you so much. Got Drunk in Our Trunk is a big estate sale. Do you ever talk to them, Trey?
Do what? Who?
Have you ever talked to Got Drunk in Our Trunk?
No, I don't think so.
They're in Tennessee and they do estate sale liquidation. So,
oh, really?
Yeah,
cool.
it might be somebody to hook up with. That was another question they were asking about making friends with the estate sale sellers or the regulars or people like that. And if there's two sides. One, if there's stuff that they don't really have a lot of luck with, they might contact you. And two, when the end of the estate sale happens, I don't know if people know this, but what happens to a lot of that stuff if they don't sell it?
It depends on the company. Sometimes the people will take it back and just donate it, or they will have somebody they can liquidate it to, all of it, and then they'll sell it all to one person.
Right. And so I think that was kind of the thing that they were leaning towards, is that you can make relationships with some of these people and you might be one of those people that they call.
That's right.
Like, hey, we've got all this stuff. We can't get rid of it. If you don't come get it, it's going to donation to Goodwill or the trash. I've seen estate sale companies trash stuff, like legitimately dump it.
Yeah, I have too.
And so it's possible you get that call and they say, hey, bring us a couple $100 and you can have everything. And all of a sudden you have a whole shipping container full of merchandise.
That's
so
right.
Got Junk in Our Trunk just sent you a friend request on Facebook. So I highly recommend, Trey.
Cool.
Awesome. You'll see it in just a second.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
And I think they're in Memphis.
I put a section in the book about what estate sale planners have to go through and kind of the things they have to deal with,
which was crazy. I saw that when I first read it.
That one where some people were stealing, they stole Cowboys jerseys and stuff like that. This just happened yesterday, and the lady was like, "What happened to all the Cowboy stuff, all the Cowboy clothing that was here?" And the lady was like, "I don't know. The guy was sitting right there. The wife was paying for the stuff, and the stuff's gone." And they just walked out with it.
Yep. And that's part. I mean, that's part of the. There's some people that are no good. Like, it just But I mean, if you can make allies, like I think everybody sees everyone as competition, but I always see people. This is one that I did, and this is exactly the same. I used to go around when I stopped doing storage units when the TV show came on and it got crushed. I would go to all the storage unit buyers that I had got to know. And I would say, hey guys, listen, I know what you do with the clothes. You dump them. Like, call me up. I'll give you $10. I'll give you $20. I'll give you $30 for whatever you got. And I started getting just calls like non-stop because they didn't want anything to do with the clothes. The storage auction buyers don't go there to buy clothes. They don't care about that. And so networking is everything in this business. And hopefully I just gave, Got Junk in Your Trunk. Hopefully Trey can be there and vice versa. I know you're in Memphis, but it's not that far. You guys can work out something. Is estate sale, Donna says estate sales seem intimidating.
Right. And that's why I wrote the book, because I've heard that before. I've heard that from people that they're intimidated about going in there. And one of the things I say in the book, kind of at the very end, and is, just go and don't plan on spending any money. Just go in and walk around and look, and then kind of maybe take a picture of a few things you thought you might buy and how much they were. Then go home and look them up, or go out to your car and sit down and look them up.
I've done that. I have done that so many times. Remember, you got a phone. You're like, oh, hey, click.
Yep.
I have walked out to my car, no kidding, sat down and looked up 20 items, gone back in and bought 4 of them.
Yep.
No question about it.
Right. Yep.
And so it doesn't hurt.
There was a hat. There was a hat. I was having a bad day. I was having a really bad day. I wasn't finding anything. And it happens. And I went into this estate sale and there was almost nothing there. And there was a shelving system and it had one hat on it. And it was a Levi's denim hat. And it had the leather Levi's patch on it. Well, I didn't know anything about those hats. And I picked it up and I looked at it. They wanted $2 for it. And I didn't want to stand in line to pay for it. So I set it back down and I went out to the car. And something just kept nagging at me at that hat. So I looked it up on my phone and I bolted out of the car, ran back in, and I paid the $2 for it. And I sold it for like $340.
Oof.
It's a square hat with an orange Levi's tag on it. And and I sold it within like a day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. You never know. These big profits are unheard of from thrift stores. And Exclusive Elegance is another one that they do. They do a lot of estate sales also. So they're going to send you a Facebook invite as well. Paul,
Absolutely.
who we all know, Paul, how do you not buy a lot of junk that you'll end up piling up and not listing? How do you avoid buying stuff like just because you're at the estate sale and having that, ooh, look moment?
Well, kind of the way I combated that was I set a limit on how much I wanted to make on an item.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at something and it's $30 and it's sitting there, you're going to go ahead and list it, or $50 or whatever it is.
Yep.
If you're only going to make 5 or 6, it may get pushed to the back while you list those $15 and $20 items. So I set a limit on, if I can't make $30 on it, I'm not going to do it. And you don't come home with as many things, so it's easier to get it processed and get it listed.
So that keeps you, being picky,
Yes.
basically,
You have to
being
be picky.
selective is
And
the
it's
way
hard.
that
In the beginning, I'll tell you, it's hard. It was hard to pass up those Walkman radios and those cassette players and stuff. Oh, it was so hard because I was selling those right and left at the time, but I was only making about $10 on them. Well, then I started getting returns on them because those Sony belts don't last like a Panasonic or something like that. And the Walkmans always have to have the belts replaced. So I quit picking them up. And that's, I was like, I don't need the frustration, and I need to raise my standards. And once I did, I've never looked back. But it was tough. It really was.
He raised his standards. So only because I get to be a troll once in a while, my official advice to Jamie Pace, if he's still here, is raise your standards. Anybody that follows Jamie will get that joke. So that's actually a great point. And so as hard as the thrift stores have made it to raise our standards lately, estate sales might be your outlet. There's a lot of states. I'm sure Texas is great. Florida's great. I imagine California's probably got its good share of estate sales. Go on the websites. Trey gave you one. There's 2 of them that I know of. So Auction Zip has some sometimes. Occasionally on the yard sale treasure map, people will list estate sales. And then also estatesales.org or .net. .net will have it. Yep. So those 3 sites will give you the list, and you can, again, take notes on your phone or screenshot it or whatever. And you just start going to the estate sales. Trey just said it perfect. Go there. Don't spend anything. Just walk around, photograph stuff, take notes of stuff, figure out what you could have, made if you had bought it. If it's still there, grab it. If it's not, then for the next time to pick it up. And don't be scared. Exclusive Elegance just said, don't be scared to drive an hour or so for some. Right. Depending on where you live.
I drive an hour just to get to the first one. So
yeah. So there you go. I mean, he lives an hour outside of Dallas. So, I live, for me to get to downtown Tampa or anywhere near I don't know anyone that's familiar with this area, with the Tampa Bay area. Where I live is the suburbs. It's all middle-class families. Everything is $250,000 or $300,000. Like, that's it. But if you drive to South Tampa past downtown, it's where the old money lives. Our town is a big Cuban refugee area. We have a huge parade every year for where like the pirates invaded Cuban town. And so South Tampa near the ports and all that is the old Cuban money. These guys have some of like Tony Montana's money still hanging around. And so when they pass on, we're talking houses that are, they're from the 20s and the 30s, but they're 7,500 square foot Spanish mansions. Those are some of the best yard sale, estate sales ever. And that's a 45-minute to an hour drive for me, but it is, I will go there. As soon as I see something pop up there, I'm like, Tony Montana's third replaced cousin lived there. I'm going. I know he's got Robert Graham and Tommy Bahama's lying in the closet.
Oh, yeah.
So
I just went to an estate sale about 3 weeks ago, and the guy was obviously single because the whole house was a man's house. And he had a whole closet full of Tommy Bahama shirts. And I went through and I picked a bunch of them up, but I got to looking at him and he wasn't real neat whenever he ate, apparently. There was lots of stains and stuff like that on his shirts. And I only wound up buying like 3.
Wow. So in case anyone's wondering, my Robert Graham's probably look similar. In case anyone wants to know. I'm not the best at that, but yeah.
And some of that you can get out. So, and some of them were worth, taking the chance. They turn out to be like $75 shirts.
$75 shirts. Yeah, you can get them dry clean and give it a shot.
But it's hard to take that chance when you're spending $10.
That's true. Yeah, you don't want to spend 10 and then spend 2 or 3 or $4 on a dry clean and you're out 14 and it didn't get it out. I've had that happen once actually.
Me too.
Don't be afraid to negotiate. Thrifty Nickel, great tip. You can negotiate at some of these, especially when it's after the first and second day. Typically they will go half off at the last day at least.
Around here I'll see 75% off.
75%. Yeah, I was gonna say I negotiated 75 at some stuff that I was buying. They wanted like $300 for it. I ended up getting it for like $50, like literally. So definitely negotiate. Look up the bigger towns in your area. Look up the richer neighborhoods. Look up anywhere that's old money tends to be. You guys know the older neighborhoods in Florida. It's easy because our neighborhoods are like labeled. Everyone in this neighborhood's 55. Everyone in this neighborhood is 25, and everyone in this neighborhood is going to be dead before you get back. So, those are our neighborhoods. They're labeled. Anybody? There's a bunch of people out here right now that are like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Come to Florida, you'll see."
But I'll tell you, I went to a retirement village that was having garage sales, and I got there at 7:00 in the morning. I drove through that whole place. And I left with maybe 3 things because they don't have anything. They sold it all before they moved in.
So was this a retirement community that was like one of those normal house 55 over?
Yeah. With a golf course in the back and everything,
Yeah, we have some of those deed restricted. We have a lot of those deed restricted 55s here. I do okay in them, but where I go is the older neighborhoods that are not deed restricted. Right. They're not labeled as those set neighborhoods. So they've just been there since the beginning of time. Those are the people that either they have money or had money. And typically they're the ones that have been there for so long that the houses have just piled up and stacked up. If you've got those pre-manufactured or pre-made neighborhoods or whatever, maybe. But the old town, everyone knows where the old cities are. I'm familiar with Chicago. I've been there twice, and Chicago has, like all the new business Chicago, but they have old Chicago. And when I'm talking old Chicago, I'm talking not the waterfront, riverfront there with the Hyatt, but south of that, all the way down. Those people with the actual houses. There are no houses in Chicago anymore, not downtown. They're all like high-rise condos. Those old houses, those people have been there since the 30s. Trust me, if something happens there, those are the kind of cities you have to look up. San Francisco, Boston, Austin has some, Dallas, of course, here in Florida, and every city in Florida, it's that way. Out in California, San Diego, not La Jolla or the big expensive rich people mansions, out in Old Town. Those are the ones you want to look for. So what is deed restricted? Deed restricted is a neighborhood that's very controlled. You can't have a boat. You can't have an RV. Your yard has to be cut. The homeowners association owns you. There's a whole bunch of rules, and typically those are newer-ish type neighborhoods. The old town homes, like here in Florida, we have like the Mediterranean, San Romeo type houses down in South Tampa, and they've been there since the 30s, the 40s. They're typically bigger, expensive houses because they're near the water, but they're old, so they've been heavily remodeled. But most of the time, the folks that live in those homes have been there, the people that have been there for 40 years, 50 years, and they just live their whole lives there. And so those houses tend to pile up, and those houses tend, when the owners die, that the family sells them, and they usually have money. And so the stuff that they have is usually good. Just kind of look for those type of neighborhoods. Every city has it. And that's another one to look at. Yeah, deed restricted. I don't live in a deed restricted neighborhood. The neighborhood behind me is deed restricted. I live here for a reason. I have no HOA. I have no rules, and everything's great.
Yep.
So
I understand.
Yep. So yeah, Donatello and I are near Palm Beach. So that's another one. So everyone knows West Palm is known. Donald Trump lives there, and West Palm is huge money, big money in West Palm Beach. But West Palm also has Palm Beach Gardens in Palm Beach that are old money, really old money. I would drive. That's a 2.5 hour drive for me. I would almost drive there if there was enough going on. I would drive there. So look for those old time houses and areas with rich houses. If you're not sure, take the address, Zillow it, and look at all the property values around it.
Yeah, that's like Highland Park here in Dallas, and down around White Rock Lake and stuff like that.
White Rock, yep.
You know,
Yep,
whenever
I
I
have a
see,
friend. Yeah, my friend in White Rock. Yeah, so
yeah,
I get to see all this
whenever I
stuff.
see it
I'm
down there, I go.
I'm so excited to come out there. I since I'm leaving Sunday, maybe if I wake up early Saturday, there might be something going on. I have to look at the estate sales for Saturday. So
Yeah, it's true.
the Trey's eBay store, I just linked. It's Caddo Creek Traders. You can also find them on Instagram. And then down below, as always, if you want to get to an estate sale expert level, you want to learn, you want to jump in there, whether you're a beginner or whether you want to learn more, grab the guide. It's worth it. You guys will thank me later. Send me all the thank yous after you buy some stuff and make some money, And if you have any crazy Hawaiian shirts, join the Facebook group. I'm in it, and I promise you, the next crazy shirts that I get will be for sale. You can list your stuff. You can buy from people. If you're a collector or you like wearing those crazy shirts like I do, I'm going to have my eyes out inside of that group for some extra larges. It doesn't have to be Robert Graham. I'll be looking for other stuff too. So, so we'll, Donatello, I will come to Palm Beach. I promise you I will. I have to see you. So we're not going to hold up Trey for the rest of the night. He's got some amazing information. If you want to pick his brain some more, grab the guide. You'll have his email. You'll have all of our contact information. And once you do that, you'll be able to pick his brain as much as you want. And is there anything you want to add to the estate sale talk, to anything that people might be wondering? Anything else you want to say? By all means, the platform is yours.
No, I mean, basically you just, I talked to some people that they were apprehensive about going in there because they feel like the people there know everything. And they don't. I mean, they're just, they're doing the best they can. They have people that work for them that are doing pricing that maybe they don't know. And there's a lot of really good deals to be had in estate sales. You'll walk into them sometimes and you'll get to know the companies that are overpriced. We got 2 or 3 here in Dallas that I still go to their estate sales because I will still find something, but a lot of their stuff is overpriced and I can't touch it.
Right.
So, but you got to get over, the apprehension of going in, and like I said, just go in and, look around and don't plan on spending any money. But most of these people are pickers. I bet they can't go into an estate sale and not spend money.
Right. It's hard to go in somewhere and not buy something.
That's right.
I've learned from the best, and Trey's one of them that I see it. So make sure that you definitely go and give it a chance. Check it out, and don't be scared. Just don't be scared. If you need that extra push, as always, ask me, ask Trey, grab the guide, whatever you need to do. A lot of us to help you. Exclusive Elegance can help you. Junk in Your Trunk can help you. We can all give you a hand. If you want to send me a message, I'll forward it on to them. And
I go through. I'm sorry. In the book, I go through, how to get started, where to look, how to set up your day, how to find the estate sales that you do want to go, how to set up your timing, the whole bit. So it's
I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to screen share you guys with Trey's table of contents that are out of this book. And this is the old rough draft version. It's been upgraded some, but so here you've got like his introduction, what are estate sales and tag sales. They're also called tag sales. We didn't mention that. So in case anyone sees that, estate sale etiquette, which is really important because there's a couple of things I didn't know about in there. How to find them, how to research them, getting ready to go to the estate sale. You've arrived. Now what? The other side of the coin, which you mentioned a little bit about, being on the opposite side of the buying table. Finding items, of course, the important part, what to buy, discounts, leveling up the knowledge, where to sell the found items, epic fails, which you guys should check out chapter 13. The epic fails is good. The biggest wins, which is something I've already added to my ever-growing list of buying and selling. And then the conclusion, and then links into all of Trey's important things, his store, all the stuff that he sells, everything that you'll need to go along with that. So there's a table of contents. You guys should grab it. 15 chapters plus the link, well worth it. And I enjoyed reading it, and I don't read very much. I listen and watch. I'm not a reader. I've probably read about 2 books in the last 10 years of my life. But
well, I feel honored then.
Yeah, and that was one of them. So I read, I like audiobooks. I like listening to YouTube videos like everyone else. I don't watch too much. I listen. So I'm a very audio person, but I read this book. And again, it took me 30 or 40 minutes to run through all of it, even with my ridiculous can't focus on anything life. And it was great. And it really, I took probably 25 or 30 notes in my phone. And whenever I go to estate sales, if it's this weekend or next weekend, I think I might go to one this weekend, actually. I know where one is. And it's stuff, something I'm going to refer back to and take a look as I walk through. So give him a chance. And is there some kind of bolo list inside of the estate sale book? Trey can answer that for you.
Yes, there is.
Chapter.
The thing, the thing you have to kind of understand about it is that you're not going to find the same things all the time.
Nope.
So the more you know, the more you're going to be able to find and pick up. And that's kind of about leveling up your knowledge and stuff like that. So, but yes, there is. I take you through an estate sale in the book from start to finish.
Yep, and it has a list. He kind of did like a breakdown of what he bought at the sale and like what he paid and the sale price. And so you'll see all that inside of like what an average. Every estate sale is different. Trust me, whatever Trey bought yesterday, you are not going to find for the next year. I assure you. No. Like it's always.
But I will give you a tip. I will give you a tip though. Here's something you can find repeatedly at estate sales, and that is the little ceramic kangaroo from Pulp Fiction. I have found 4 of those at different estate sales, and if you get the right color, which is the brown one, then you can sell them for about $45. And usually no one knows what it is.
I gotta do it.
They sell for $3 or $4.
The first person besides Trey who finds me the next Pulp Fiction. Listen, the next person who finds it and sends me a picture of themselves buying this from a thrift store, yard sale, estate sale, I don't care where you find it. If you find one, you send it to me. I will give you a copy of all of my guides, including Trey's book on me. I will pay for it. And 3 months inside of my VIP group, the next person that sends me to this group, send it to my email, rockstarflipper@gmail.com. You find one, you send it to me.
Somebody will find it.
Somebody's going to find it. I will buy you Trey's book and send it to you. I will send you all of mine and 3 months in the VIP group, the next person that finds it, simply because he pointed that out. Now I'm on a mission. If I find it before anyone else, contest over. So, everyone's looking tomorrow. So that's where we're going to leave you guys. I appreciate Trey. I'm so glad he got connected even through his storms and down there in Texas, where even the storms are bigger, apparently. So
yeah, it's raining right now. I can hear it outside.
I don't imagine it's not raining in Texas and in Florida. We got all these fancy storms that have names and everything. You guys might have heard of them. They cause bad weather everywhere. So fingers crossed we don't get any more. Thank you so much, Trey. It's amazing. As always, if you guys have questions, the comment section, if you have questions for me, for Trey, anybody, leave it. Grab his book. It's down below. It's, special price is down below for you guys because he's going to raise that price soon, and make sure you get it now. Other than that, we want to thank Trey for his time. Thank him for wearing that.
I want to thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Thank everybody for staying and watching.
Yep. And you guys hung around for over an hour. So thank you for that as well. And I've got to know Trey over the last 6 months, and it's been awesome. It's been amazing having him on the show. And if you guys want to get to know more about him, his Instagram and his eBay are both Caddo Creek Traders. I'll link it one more time. And until next time, everybody, have a wonderful night, wonderful weekend until I talk to you again. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.